Hello, world, and welcome to Creating Light with Kelsey. YouTube people, you already know. You already see it. You see it. We'll talk about that later. Stuff is still settling, so I can't really talk about it right now, but you see differences. You see differences. I just wanted to talk again about the joy business, the joy journey. That's what I've started to call it, which is, probably not unique or original, but it obviously has a nice ring to it. Like, oh, I'm on a joy journey. And that sounds promising. It sounds uplifting, fun, inspiring. Let's not forget, friends, how the fuck I got here was to, even before I could enter the land of joy, I had to live in the land of darkness for 7 years. So yeah, you can't just skip to joy. You can't, I'm sorry. That's really not how it works. You can try and spiritually bypass and live in the land of delusion, which will continue to perpetuate suffering. So you're not actually anywhere different. You're just sticking yourself more. Anyway, what the fuck? Where did I go? I went on a tangent. That happens. If you didn't listen to episode 27, The Miracle of Seven, go listen to it. Cause that was with me, like I shared the epiphany, like I had it, and then a couple days later I came on to share about it when I was like connecting all the dots. And if you saw on YouTube, you saw the real life. I put more footage on there of the actual dots connecting in my facial expressions. Joy. I'm drinking out of my joy mug. If you're on YouTube, look at this. Every time I look at this thing, this lovely mug, I'm sipping on joy. I'm drinking my daily dose of joy. And that sounds silly, but hello, hi. Do you know how the fucking mind works and rewiring and programming in that way? It works, okay? So I'm constantly sipping my joy and filling myself up on joy every morning when the mug is available, because I do not live alone. And we share the joy in this house. I'm not the only one that likes this mug. But the revelation was with the mind, body, and spirit with 7 years, and like taking, 7 years for the cells to completely regenerate, taking 7 years. It can take up to 7 years at least for when a big T trauma happens, for then you to be able to face it, to start to look at it, and start the healing journey, or it will start to wreak havoc in your life and you will unconsciously repeat cycles. Ask me how I know. I did it. I did it because I waited 14 years, because the first time a big T trauma happened was when I was around 10, 11. And then more stuff happened later, but then 7 years after that initial planting, I was only 17, 18, didn't have the tools, still a kid, still living at home in high school, wasn't looking at it. And 7 years after that, got myself in a serious relationship that started to perpetuate the trauma that I experienced. I was repeating my own cycle unconsciously that I experienced in childhood. And then I started to look at it because I was like, fuck, man, life sucks ass. And I am living in my own hell. So my psyche was like, here you go. This is why. Would you like to look at it now or continue to be a victim? So 7 years for trauma for you to begin to be ready to do something on average when it's such a big thing. And then it had me thinking. I started looking at my trauma about 7 years ago. So if we got this 7-year business going on, does that mean joy is here? Does that mean joy has come to play now? Hello? Like, are you around the corner? Like, are you gonna stay a little while? Do you feel safe enough to be here? That's the thing. And joy will only feel safe enough to stick around, because everything still comes in waves, but you can have a joy phase and joy be a more constant in your life, but it has to be safe enough. It has to feel safe enough to stay. Your nervous system has to be settled and relaxed enough to be able to hold it. And if you're still in hypervigilance because you're avoiding trauma, there's no room for joy. And that's just the hard truth. No room for joy to be a constant. It'll always just be fleeting. And I had come to the conclusion that whenever we decide to face our trauma, that's when we start planting or fermenting, tending to the seeds of joy. Only then, when you do that, will there be enough space for it to come to the surface. Because joy is down there. Joy is within you. And it's protected. Like, it's never going to go away, and it's not going to be like completely extracted from your existence. It may fucking feel like it. I understand, but it's there. It is still there. You just get to dig to rediscover it. And then you will learn that it is working tirelessly to build the foundation that is strong enough for it to come back up to the surface and to bloom and be seen and be a mirror within your exterior reality. But it's never going to reach that potential if you don't go through the valley of death of your existence. Like, that's where it lives, babe. That's where it lives. So you got to go through that to show it the way back up. But I wanted to extend the offer, and like, for me, it took about 7 years, and 7 years of like really hard, like, man, I'm a hard in the paint. People, I understand now that the average person does not go that hard in the paint in their healing journey, but I was fucking determined. I was sick of this. I was sick of the, how much this was happening and all of the darkness within the bloodline and past lives that was continuously not getting cleared. I was over it. So I was determined, like, bruh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this for me because I deserve it. I deserve to be free from suffering, and everyone that comes after me deserves it as well. Like, they are not gonna have to carry on the past stuff and be just lost and like, why do I feel so dense? Why do I feel so heavy? And that's what, if you're questioning that's shit that's not yours but got passed on to you through your energetic and physical DNA. Whatever is not faced within the people that come before you will be passed on. And that's why we've got all these little teeny boppers that are anxious and depressed and suicidal, but don't understand why. Like, I've had so many clients come to me like, I haven't even experienced a difficult life. Like, they were so straight up of like, I haven't even had that bad of trauma to feel this horrible. And then I introduce them to the term generational trauma, and their mind is just fucking blown. And that's like, dude, Bessel van der Kolk, like, the body keeps the score, like, real thing. He's not the only one that like talks about that stuff, but that is the one, that's like the textbook that really breaks it down of what is stored in your body. And that's why somatic work is so important. So we can free up that emotional baggage. Like, you don't have to know what it is for a certified somatic activated healer to guide you in the process and unlocking that. And then for like you to unlock it, like, I guide you in the process and you unlock it. Anyway, getting off on a different tangent. But what I wanted to talk about today, and extending on the topic of joy, there's two things. There's two things to this. Because at the end of that episode, I was like, oh my gosh, if you knew that from my experience, that it only took about 7 years for me of me facing my darkness, for joy to be here now, wouldn't you do it? Wouldn't you do the work? Wouldn't you face all of this stuff if you knew what was on the other side, and that this joyous life is waiting for you? So one, a little reality check on that. That's not always a guarantee. And love you, mean it, but that is the lovely game of earth that we are in. And that's also why generational trauma exists, okay? Because some people know on a certain level, no matter how much they face it, no matter how much clearing that they do, some parts of them have the awareness that there is so much there that they most likely will not get to live the life of freedom to the extent that they may expect or desire, because there's so much to clear. So then they don't do it because it's not going to benefit them. And it just gets passed on and more intensified and da 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 da. And the traumas get greater and greater within the life. And that's parts of why darkness will never be diminished, because that is the duality concept. Because also on this earth game, we agree that there will always be people that choose to not face it, because the people that don't face it are the ones that awaken the people that are willing to face it. Lovely game. Lovely, fucked up game. Now we choose to come down here and play. So that question got put onto all certified somatic activated healers, actually, by our teacher, Sadi Simone. He was like, would you still do the work if you don't reap the benefits of it within this lifetime? And that's the testament of a true, if you're here to be a healer, that's a testament of being a true healer. Like, are you going to do the work even if life is still hard for you? Even if there's constant of being in the trenches, the death valley, the hell realm, like, you know, it's a possibility. And for me, I knew that, and I had that knowing that I'm going to choose to do this no matter what, like years before I even came into the training for somatic activated healing. And then this question, I've had this grounding question ever since then, is what's the alternative? What's the alternative if I don't do the work? I already know life was a living hell. So if I don't do the work, it's just going to stay here and get worse. And anyone that comes into my orbit is going to be projected onto and experience my hell, and I will cause suffering. I will hurt people. And if I have kids, they're fucked. That's just going to be way worse, because that's kind of how it rolls. It a lot of the times it gets worse each time you don't face it. And then you have kids. If your parents didn't face it, they had you don't face it, it's almost a guarantee that it'll get worse each time that you don't face it. So that's the alternative if you don't ever decide to do the work or decide to face any of it, like straight up. So even if I can work as hard as I want, and maybe the life that I desire won't be here, maybe, I don't know. That's not a guarantee, like I just said. Would I still do it? Yes. Yes. Because it's not just about me. It's about the people that come after me. And the amount of clearing that I have done, the people that come after me, or the people that are around me as a result, they get to experience more healing than hurt. It gets to be easier for them to be on this path and create a life of miracles and greatness and joy than it was for me. And that's the fucking point. Because it's not always about you. It's not always about you, babe. And if we go about life only doing things for us, one, that means you a little greedy, and you're always going to be existing in some form of suffering if that is your agenda. It may not always feel like it. Like if the thing that you're trying to cultivate may not be here within this lifetime, but life does get better regardless, because you demand better and you get better and you build more resilience, and you don't go back to where you came from when it comes to trauma and suffering. To me, is a win all around. So that's one side of the coin. Because I was like, there's two things that I want to talk about with that. The other thing is when you open yourself up to this healing journey, you get exposed to people who've been there and have walked the path and can guide you to make it easier, because that's kind of the people like me that go hard in the paint. We go hard in the paint to pave the way for others. And so for me, it took about 7 years of really going in there and seeing and facing all of the darkness. And like, that was my only focus since 2017. Like, for real, it was just straight up, like, nose to the grindstone, like looking up every now and then and exploring around. But like, I was so far down within the depths of my own existence and into my own hell that it took that long for me to claw my way back up to see joy. And because of that, I've paved a way that it won't have to take as long, you know? And it feels so surreal to be here in this moment to actually say that out loud to people. Like, I've dropped it here and there on like some past episodes, I believe, but through this process, I've created a formula for healing in a container that takes you through the depths of your darkness. It's an 8-month container. It is not for the people that don't want to really be doing the work. It's not for the people that are new to the healing journey. It's for the way showers. It's for the other people that are here to pave paths. It's for the people that are here that have already decided and committed to breaking generational traumas throughout their bloodline. It's for the people that are truly wanting to transmute their darkness into light. And I'm just calling in a handful of souls that this is for, because I've been cultivating this for 5 years now. And I'm going to be starting to talk about it more because it's going to be starting in January of 2024. But I created it when I was in grad school. I created a whole study around this, and I did it on myself. And then I ran the study. The results blew my fucking mind. And then I did work around it because I didn't want it just to be academic based. I was like, no, I need to give this to the world, it can't just be for research. Like, I need to offer this on a consistent basis for people to experience it. So this is like my life's work that I'll be launching every single year. And I've done it with a couple clients. And then when I restructured the whole format into an 8-month course, I just retook it myself with a friend. And I finished it a couple weeks ago. And now it's pulling it all together again and offering it. So this is like So this is like the 4th time I've ran it, but opening it up to talking about it on the podcast and on Instagram, because before it's just been way underground because I was working on really creating it. And since this is the first time that I'm running it with more than one person, and I'm calling in a small group of people, like, you're getting a big ass discount on it, and it will literally never be this price again. So if this is intriguing at all I did was just little sprinkles of stuff, because I'll be talking about it more later on. DM me on Instagram at creatinglight_. I'll put this stuff in the description as well. DM me ATUW. That's the acronym for the course. We're not releasing the course name yet. We're going to be a little mysterious on that one. I'll list that in the description, though, of how to DM me that you're interested, and we can chat. But I've been working diligently to create this because I know that this will shorten the gap astronomically, because that's a big ask. That's a big ask of a person with very complex trauma to be like, hey, this could take 7 years, a decade, a lot of fucking time for this to really be clear in you to exist in a life of grace and ease and joy. I get it. I get why a lot of people would be like, well, fuck that. Like, no, thank you. Like, I'm not strong enough. I can't do it. And all these stories happen and start. And that's, I think that I mean, I know that's why that my soul was called to go through my own hell realm and figure and navigate and figure all this stuff out. Have the guideposts of like how you get down there, how you come back out, like how can you befriend everything that lives in there? Like that's the kicker. Like how can we say hello instead of fuck you? And how can we show compassion instead of always being afraid? Because it's you. It's all you. These are all parts of you that just want to be seen, held, and loved. So how do we learn how to do that and take accountability for our feelings? This is what that does. And by doing that, it shortens it can, if you commit yourself to it, shorten the time span to where it doesn't have to take 7 years to get to this point, to like lift the veil on being able to see peace, love, and joy, like all of that, and allowing that like to be in your existence and regulating the nervous system to where it can actually hold it. And that's transmutation. But this is so ready to be birthed now to the world. Like it is time. It is time for me to teach this to others. It's like, damn, I have so much to give. And I cannot wait to offer this to people. Like it is the formula to freedom, and it's something that you can just do, and it's only 8 months of your life, and like, oh my God, life-changing, truly life-changing if you fully commit to it and you finish it. Because this we're the end. Tie a bow on this whole episode, Kelsey, because I can keep talking about this forever. Stay tuned. Just stay tuned. And again, if that piques your interest, hit me up on Instagram at Creating Light. DM me ATUW, and we will fucking chat. Yeah, we will. But that is all you can do right now. That is all you can do right now is slide in my DMs about this. And just follow me on Instagram. Keep listening to the podcast. You will receive more information within these next few months. But thank you for listening. And remember, when we see the light in ourselves, we create light in others.